Hello, everyone. I'm Hitesh. I'm the PM in the Outlook add-ins team, and I'm joined by Neelu, who is a software engineer in our team. And in the next half of this session, we will talk about Outlook add-ins and how they integrate with the Outlook as a platform. And we will also show you some productivity hacks that you can do using these add-ins. Right. So let's get started. Uh, so if I have to define what Outlook add-ins are, think of these as third-party integrations that are built on top of Outlook using our web-based platform, right? You might be familiar with this kind of concept with Chrome extensions or extensions of any kind. You see it in other productivity apps like Slack or even consumer apps like WeChat. Right. So this is similar. This is one of the extensions that sits on top of Outlook. And just to call out, this is different than the plugins, which is an older form of extension that was available only on Outlook Windows. Right. And some of the features of this Outlook add-in or the modern Outlook add-in is that it uses the latest and the greatest web technology. The way you build your web apps using JavaScript, CSS, and HTML, those same technologies are available to build the Outlook add-ins as well. And this is cross-platform, right? So if you develop an add-in which works on, say, Outlook Desktop, it will work as it is on Outlook Web and Outlook Mac and even Outlook Mobile as well. So the idea is that you build once, but you deploy everywhere, right? And lastly, we provide like a modern distribution approach wherein we have a store where you can go and pick up the add-in that you like. You as an independent software developer can publish your app like you do in the case of Android or iOS store. And for admins out there who want to deploy these solutions to their organization, we have something called a centralized deployment, wherein you can deploy any kind of add-in to all the users, or select group of users within the organization. Right. So let me just show you a use case, right? So it will just help me drive the point of what Outlook add-ins are and how they interact with Outlook. So what you see here in this presentation is a mail from Joe, who is the manager of Juan, and he sends out a mail saying that hey, he wants to meet us for a sync up sometime in October or November, right? And Juan has to reply back saying that okay, there are certain available times that Juan has, and it would be in those times that he would like to meet. And in a typical setup, what would happen is it would result in a lot of to and fro emails where Juan would suggest the timings that work for him, ask Joe whether that timing works for him or not, and then end up setting up the meeting, right? But with add-ins, what can happen is that you can do this thing much faster. Now, where do you find these add-ins? If you have to make use of them, they are available on the top ribbon that you see highlighted here. They appear as native buttons on top of Outlook, and you can click on them and launch a UI on the side of Outlook, and this is what we call as task pane, right? It provides a UI layer on top of Outlook wherein you can select the action or do certain settings for that add-in. Think of it as a mini web app that is sitting right next to your Outlook. And with this mini web app that you see, you can use all our APIs to interact with the item, which is the mail item here, and you can extract all the kinds of metadata from this mail item, right? So in this particular case, in this example that I have here, Juan opens the add-in, which is called Find Time, and in the Find Time app shows the open slots which Juan has from his calendar. So Juan ends up selecting the different time that works for him. And then just on few clicks, the the available times from Juan is embedded into the email reply, and it is sent to Joe, his manager. Now, Joe opens the calendar invite, and what he will see is a bunch of available timings that Juan has, and he can just click on the button which for the favorable time that he thinks works for him as well, and that's all. The meeting is scheduled. Right. So the workflow, which would require you to do a lot of to and fro email messaging, is reduced to a simple one message or one email using the add-in. Right. So that was one example of what add-ins can do. If I have to dive deeper into like what are the components that the Outlook add-in has, right? So as I mentioned, Outlook add-in is nothing but a mini web app, but it also has a component called as manifest. Manifest is an XML file, and I'll dive deeper into what it contains in a minute. But the combination of these two, the web app and the manifest, is what makes an add-in. And once you have this add-in in place, it is available across all the platforms. You have Windows, you have browser, you have Mac, Android, and iOS, everywhere. And once you have the add-in, you can deploy it via the Microsoft App Source, where an individual users can go to the store-like page and download the add-in. Or you can, if you can go to an admin portal and open centralized deployment, and then install the add-in for all the users within the organization, right? So, as I said, with manifest, right? What does this manifest contain? So think of manifest as something of a rule book, right? It tells the add-in. It tells the Outlook, it tells the Outlook that how the add-in should surface itself on top of Outlook, right? It tells what should be the buttons the add-in should contain, on which surfaces this add-in should appear, right? It's a set of rules that apply to an add-in. And Outlook uses this to render the add-in on top of its UI. And what manifests usually contain are something called as extension points, which define basically on which surfaces the add-in would appear on top of Outlook. Like for example, you could be creating an add-in which works by inserting a template into the email, right? And this which should happen on the compose scenario when you are say composing the mail. Or it could be you could be building an add-in which logs all the email that you receive on your inbox. And in this case, the add-in should appear on the read surface when the user is reading the mail. Or there are other provisions like you could have your add-in log when there is some kind of expression that is found on the email of the user. And this is called as contextual entry points, wherein the add-in can launch based on certain phone number or certain entity within the Outlook message, right? So these are some of the ways in which the add-ins can launch and appear on top of users' mailbox. Now, how do you acquire these add-ins, right? So you have now understood what add-ins are, what they're made of, how manifest defines which surfaces the add-in should appear. And now on the distribution part, what we have is called an app source or inclined store. These are two ways in which you as an end user can go ahead and acquire the add-in. So app source is something you can go right now. You can just click on appsource.microsoft.com and you will see the bunch of different web apps that are supported for different kinds of Office platform available there. And you can go select an add-in which you like and install them directly from there. Or you can, within the surface of Outlook itself, click on the inclined store button and you will be taken to a page where you can manage all the add-ins that are already installed to you, or you can even find and explore new add-ins, right? So the exploration or how you get to a certain add-in is really simple for the end users. Right. So I think the best way to know what add-ins are is by an example, and I'll show you what of some of the successful add-ins which are already out there, right? So let's just give me a minute. I'll show it. Yeah. So so this is the Outlook web that you see here. And what I'll show you is some of the add-ins which are quite successful, and they help you complete certain workflows, right? So maybe say for example, Pradeep is my vendor, and I is a vendor whom I want to introduce my company, right? And my company wants me to have a certain kind of template that should be shown on the very first email that I sent out, right? So instead of typing out the whole template or spending a lot of time in figuring out the layout of the template, etc., what I can do is I can use an add-in called AndText, and it's an add-in which provides different kinds of business templates to you, right? And right on the compose surface, I clicked on the add-in, and it gave me a UI from which I can select different templates. Say the template that I want is the statement template, and using the APIs that we provide, this add-in, this third-party add-in, was directly able to integrate a newsletter kind of template on the email. And I can really in a simple way edit and customize the newsletter that I want to send to Pradeep. So it's pretty simple. You did not have to spend a lot of time creating this template or even editing out the values that you see here, right? So I can send this email to Pradeep whenever I want with a customized text. Or maybe it so happens that I might want to set up a meeting with Pradeep, right? So what I can do is I can go to calendar, uh, create a Zoom meeting. Considering the COVID times, every meeting is online, and I can create a Zoom meeting to meet Pradeep, right? So I can simply create the calendar invite, click on the Zoom add-in that's available here, and with just one click of a button, the Zoom will work, right? So in this case, the Zoom is not logged in, uh, but very simply, you can create the Zoom meeting invite. And the Zoom is available as a side pane as well. And not just Zoom, we have integrations with all sorts of online meeting providers, right? So you can very easily create a meeting invite as well. Or what you can also do is, say, if you want a payment to be received from Mr. Pradeep, right? So what you can do is you can make use of PayPal integration uh, uh, that's already built in. Let me show you. So as soon as I send this email, what Pradeep will see in his mailbox is the word PayPal getting highlighted. Now, Pradeep can click on this PayPal icon, and the add-in of PayPal will launch. And from directly from this UI, Pradeep can send the money to me. Right. So this is an example of the contextual add-in where the add-ins can appear directly on the mail read surface as well. Right. So these are some of the examples in which add-ins can really elevate your different workflows that you have. Now, if I have to show you how add-ins work on mobile, uh, we have add-ins available on both the platforms, the iOS as well as Android. And how it works is you go to Outlook app and you can go to the add-ins page, add-ins option, and install any of the add-ins which are available for Outlook mobile. Not all add-ins are available here. We have restricted the add-ins on mobile to be available only on the read mode. And you can perform operations which you can create add-ins which perform its operation on the read mode. Like you can see in the example here, making use of an add-in called Evernote and logging the email that comes to my mobile, right? And all of this happens right within the UI of the Outlook app. Right. So moving on, I think if I have to inspire you, like to build web add-ins, I'll just show some of the logos here, and these are the vendors who have add-ins already built on top of Outlook. We have all the kinds of meeting add-ins and all the meetings that are created right from the Outlook using, say, Google Meet, Amazon Chime, Zoom, Cisco WebEx. All of them have presence on Outlook. We even have the productivity apps or the customer relationship management apps like Salesforce, HubSpot, which already have built add-ins for their millions of Outlook users. And we even have some of the security partners like Egress and KnowBe4 who are building security add-ins on top of Outlook to augment their existing email security solutions. So there are a plethora of options, and we have a bunch of APIs which are available to you as an independent software vendor to make use of. Right. So I also want to give a glimpse of what's coming in the future, right? So right now, what you saw was that I was launching the add-in by clicking on an icon within the Outlook, right? Which you can see on the left side, where I am launching an add-in. The user is launching an add-in by finding out where the add-in is, clicking on it, and certain action happens on top of Outlook. But now we have something in preview which is called event-based activation, in which it automates the whole add-in launch sequence, wherein you can have your add-in launch on certain events that occur within Outlook. For example, in the case that you see on the right side, a recipient is added directly by an add-in when you click on New Compose. Right. So as soon as you start composing an email, the user does not have to go find the add-in and figure out what to do, but the add-in can intelligently figure out what to do when an event happens. So this is something which is coming in the future. This is something which is available in preview, and there are a plethora of scenarios that are possible with it, right? And let me show you just one of the possibilities. What you see here is the scenario for recipient change, right? So you may want to have a typical simple signature when you are sending the email to internal audience. But if you're sending an email to an external audience, you may have an add-in that wants to stamp a very rich signature. And this can be done with this event-based launch, where user does not have to do anything. The add-ins automatically launches, and it just does the desired operation automatically, right? So the possibilities are endless, and I would encourage all of you to try it out by going into aka.ms and preview Outlook add-ins. This is a capability which is right now available as preview. Right. Before I pass on to Neelu, who will show you the demo for Outlook add-ins, I just want to share a few news as well regarding Outlook add-ins. So we made a bunch of things GA in a couple of months back. some of the widely requested features such as single sign-on. You can have your add-ins log in using Microsoft credentials, even if you're a third party. We have Script Lab available for developers who want to play around with Outlook add-ins and to help them build one. We have online meeting scenarios, which are really helpful if you are working in online meeting, if you're an online meeting vendor and you want to integrate directly into Outlook. And we have a bunch of new add-ins, new API capabilities that are out on Windows and Outlook Web. So do check them out. Right. And lastly, we have very exciting thing, event-based activated add-ins that is coming up. And they're out for preview, and you can definitely play around with them if you want to build add-ins. Right. So I'll pass the ball to Neelu, who will now quickly show you how to build an Outlook add-in and how you can easily use the existing documentation to get started. Over to you, Neelu.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Hitesh, for sharing with us what Outlook add-ins are and showing us some amazing examples of it. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So hello everyone. My name is Neelu Agrawal. Today I'll talk about how to build an Outlook add-in using Scaffold, analyze how an add-in manifest is defined, understand how and where the add-in is hosted, understand how to work with email content through an add-in. So let's get started. So before we start, first of all, you need to set up your machine for add-in development. So what do you need for that? First, you need to download and install Node.js and NPM, and then you need to install Yeoman Generator, which is a scaffolding tool for web. And you can install Yeoman Generator using this command. So this command will install Yeoman Generator for you. Now let's yeah. So to create Outlook add-in, first of all, you need to do your office. So this will take some time. This will take around roughly 2 to 3 minutes. Now we'll select JavaScript. So here we are creating Outlook add-in. So we'll select Outlook. So this will take 30 more seconds and I think it will be done. So this npm installation and Yeoman Generator installation, it takes some time. So I already installed these things and kept my machine ready. So I only ran your office command and now, yeah. So our project is ready now. Now we will go and edit this project. So I'm going to use Visual Studio Code, but you can use any other editor of your choice. So here we have a task pane where the whole logic for task pane add-in will go. Then we have this commands where logic for UILS add-ins will go. And then here we have manifest where the settings, all the settings related to add-ins will go. This is something which we will install in Outlook. So yeah, let's get started. So let's start with a very simple scenario. where we will read subject of the email and show it in a task bin add-in. So how we will do that? So I have a code snippet ready for that. So let's just copy that. So this is the space. I created a section where I'll read the subject of the email and show it in the task bin. So this is the section defined for that. Now we have to write the logic. So this is the logic for that. This is the API to read the subject. We'll do office context mailbox item and dot subject, and we will get the subject of the email. So now our code is ready. Now what we need to do is we have to test this. So how we will do that? To test this, we need to run a server. So we will start a local Node.js server. So this is the command for that. Okay. So our server started. Now let's go to Outlook. Here we will sideload the add-in. So there are multiple ways to install the add-in. One of the way is to install via store, and one of the way is to sideload. When you are developing your add-in locally, you need to test it. So we will install it from here. This is called side loading of add-in. So my add-in is installed here now. Now let's go and test this. Okay, so I'll click on run, and the API which I showed earlier. So what it is doing is it is reading the subject of the email and showing it in the task pane. So this was a very simple scenario. Now let's just take another scenario where we will find out how much time it takes to read that email. Okay, so you already know where you have to make the changes. So this is the place where we have to make the changes for task pane add-in. And here we are using a body API, notification APIs to achieve our scenario. Now we have to test the add-in again. So we will reload this add-in. So it is showing us here that it will take this much time to read this email. But don't you think this was a scenario where UI was not required? So for such scenarios, we have something called UI-less add-in. So let's just copy the same logic for the UI-less. So where we are going to edit the UI-less scenarios. So this is the place where we have to write the logic for UI-less add-ins. So I'll just copy the same logic here, and we have to run the add-in again now. So I'll dismiss this and just perform an action, and it is showing us this. So here there was no need for the task pane. So yeah, so there could be multiple scenarios. So depending on your scenario, you can decide whether you have to write a task pane add-in or whether you have to use a UI-less add-in. And also, you saw that when I made changes, I directly clicked on add-in button and it ran. I had not uninstalled and installed the add-in again. This is because I made changes only in the logic of the add-in and not in the manifest. So if you are going to make any changes in the manifest, so every time you will have to install it again and then test it. So this was one very simple scenario. Now let's get back to the slides. So we already saw a small demo to build the Outlook add-in, and it was, I think, very simple, very few steps. Now let's see what does add-in consists of. So add-in consists of manifest and your your whole logic, and then combined together it makes the add-in. So manifest is the only part which is known to Outlook. Rest of your add-in logic stays with you. You can host it anywhere, like I hosted it on the local Node.js server. So similarly, you can host it on Azure server or any environment of your choice. Now let's see what are the elements within the manifest. So we have a display icon, display name, icon, provider name, and description. So these are the things which you see at the very beginning of the manifest. And then we have API requirement set. Uh, what is the minimum mailbox version? For Outlook add-ins, mailbox version is 1.1 and requirement set is mailbox. Okay, so let's see these sections in the manifest first. So here are the icon and name and provider names. So all those things are here, and then we have a requirement section. So here we have the requirement section. So we have a mailbox as a requirement set name, and here we have a default min version of 1.3, which means all the APIs from 1.3 and above versions will be available for this add-ins. So we have a minimum of a 1.1, so you can use 1.1 also, a number from 1.1 to 1.9. Now we have allowed app domains and add-in permissions. So what are allowed app domains? So let's say in your add-in, you want to navigate to some other domain. So to do that, you need to declare that in manifest that your add-in is going to navigate to some other domain. Otherwise, what will happen when you will navigate, a different window will open for that domain. If you want to navigate within the task pane, then you have to declare this under app domains. So let's see where is that section. So this section is also at the top here. So if you are going to navigate to, let's say, 2-3 different domains, so all will come under this app domains. Inside that, you have to define app domain element for each of the domains which you are going to visit. Okay, then we have add-in permissions. So add-in permissions are there are 4 types of add-in permissions: restricted, read item, read write item, and read write mailbox. So depending on add-in permissions, you will be able to fetch the APIs. There are certain add-in APIs which requires read write mailbox permission. Then there are certain APIs which requires read item permissions. So you need to specify the permission accordingly. So here we have permissions defined. So for this add-in, add-in which I created using the template, it has read write item permissions. So if you will try to use read write mailbox permissions, uh, uh, API which requires read write mailbox permissions, then you'll get error. Now we have form factor. So form factor, there are two types of form factor, desktop and mobile. Desktop form factor is for OA, which is Outlook on web, and desktop client, and sorry, Windows client and Mac client. And mobile is for iOS and Android. Then we have extension points. What are these extension points? Extension points tell us like where this add-in will appear. Mail read surface, mail compose surface, mail appointment surface, or mail sorry, appointment compose surface. Let's just see where it is. So these are the extension points. We have in this template add-in, we have extension point defined as a message read command surface. So that is why our add-in was appearing in the read surface. So let's see, we have any other extension point? No. So this add-in will not appear in any other surface. It will not appear in message compose surface. It will not appear in appointment read or compose surface. If you want your add-in to appear in those surfaces also, then you'll need to add one more extension point. Just add a message compose command surface, and similarly for appointment read and appointment compose. We have extension points which further tells us which URL to launch in the task pane, and which function to call, and where is the function file defined for that. So let's see, where is that. So when I was showing you demo, I showed you a task pane add-in and I showed you a UILS add-in. So this is the control defined for our task pane add-in. So the action type for that is show task pane, and the URL which we are going to load in the task pane is defined here, taskpane.url. So this is again defined in the resources section. So this is the URL which we are going to load. And then for the UILS, we have this control defined. This is the action which we need to specify for the UILS, and the function name is actions. So where is this function action defined? So this is defined in commands.url. And what is commands.url? This is again defined in the resources section. So yeah, that's it for the demo. Over to you, Hitesh.
Yeah. Can you switch to the next slide, Neelu? Yeah.
Yeah, I already switched.
All right, thanks. So, folks, certain call to actions for you folks here. So, if you want to build Outlook add-ins, like Neelu mentioned, do head over to the link here, aka.ms Outlook add-ins overview, and you will get all the resources you need to start building your Outlook add-ins. You can even venture out in the documentation and you can find ways to build add-ins for other Office products like Excel or PowerPoint as well. And if you want to try out the preview capabilities, the new API sets which are coming up, or the new event activation that I showed a demo of, you can head over to aka.ms preview Outlook add-in, and a sub-documentation to that would be aka.ms event activated add-ins, and you would get all the instructions that you require to build the to try out the new preview capabilities that are out there. If you have feedback, we are always open to hear some. You can go to github.com office dev. We take in all the feedback that comes in for add-ins for all of Office products, and we would be happy to engage with you to learn more about what you have in mind, right? And for new features, if you feel that, hey, there is something missing in Outlook add-ins platform, and you would want to ask us whether this will be available or not, you can share your feedback, share your feature request on aka.ms Outlook user voice. All the PMs and the devs actively monitor this website for potential feature requests that keep coming, and we actively act on it. And lastly, Bootcamp is one of the platforms where we highlight what's coming on the Outlook add-ins. But if you want to continuously know about what's the latest and the greatest that's coming up, you are a ISV who has a business of Outlook add-ins, it's best idea to join our monthly community call. It happens on second Wednesdays, and you can head over to the link here, aka.ms, add-in community call to get the invite for this. We share all the latest information about Outlook add-ins in this forum. Right. So I think that's all